Part number 2. I'm going to ground this second video in current economic data first, then turn it into my voice. The goal is warning without empty fear-mongering, hard facts, personal positioning, and a clear investor mindset. Full breakdown. What this warning is really about. Tuesday, Cinco de Mayo, 2026. Like and subscribe. The $1 Investor. Or continue to bury your head in the sand and let the biggest economic crisis in American history just pass you by without you benefiting from it. Here's the truth behind the video and the message I need my followers to understand. The warning is not that the world ends tomorrow. The warning is that the American consumer is weak, overextended, over-leveraged, and still acting like everything is normal. That is dangerous because the United States economy runs heavily on consumer spending. Personal consumption expenditures were about 68.1% of gross domestic product in the first quarter of 2026, meaning the American economy still depends on people spending money every day. The problem is that a lot of that spending is not coming from strength, it is coming from debt. According to the New York Federal Reserve, total household debt reached about $18.8 trillion in the fourth quarter of 2025. Credit card balances also reached about $1.277 trillion, the highest level since the New York Fed started tracking that data in 1999. That means the average American is not just living paycheck to paycheck anymore. A lot of people are living paycheck to credit card, paycheck to car loan, paycheck to buy now, pay later, paycheck to personal loan, paycheck to minimum payment, and that is where the danger lives. At the same time, inflation is still not dead. The Bureau of Economic Analysis showed the Personal Consumption Expenditures Price Index up 3.5% year-over-year in March of 2026. Reuters also reported that consumer prices surged in March because the Iran war pushed gasoline and diesel prices higher, adding pressure to households already dealing with expensive living costs. Then you add policy mistakes on top of that. Tariffs are not free. Some politicians sell tariffs like foreigners magically pay the bill, but the Federal Reserve found that tariffs implemented through November of 2025 raised core goods, personal consumption expenditures, prices by about 3.1% through February of 2026, contributing about 0.8% to core personal consumption expenditures inflation overall. So yes, I put some blame on Washington. And yes, I put some blame on the Trump administration's tariff strategy, because tariffs can raise costs inside the economy. But I also put blame on the American people, because a lot of people chose gluttony. They chose car payments, they chose credit cards, they chose vacations on debt. They chose clothes, jewelry, financed furniture, financed phones, financed trucks, and lifestyles they could not afford. And now the bill is coming. This is why the next downturn can create a massive wealth transfer. Not because downturns are good, they are not. People lose jobs, people lose homes, people max out credit cards, people panic, people sell assets at the worst time, but every collapse also creates opportunity for people who prepared. That is why I am positioning myself. I have seen this movie before. I went through prior economic shocks. I saw what happened in 2018. I saw what happened when markets cracked. I saw people panic. And I saw people with liquidity, income, patience, and discipline build wealth. That is where I am now. I am close to $500,000 already. I have about $190,000 in liquidity inside my 457B system. I have over $219,000 invested on the growth side. I am depositing $32,500 per year into my 457B. Over 20 years, that is $650,000 in deposits alone, before growth, before compounding, before market recovery, and before the opportunities that come during fear. Now I am also looking at secondary work again, not because I am broke, not because I need to buy junk, because I want dry powder, I want income, I want ammunition. If I can keep AC Transit around 135 hours every 2 weeks and add the right second job, I can keep feeding the machine while everyone else is trying to survive the machine. That is the difference. Most people are going to enter the next crisis with debt. I plan to enter it with cash flow. Most people are going to enter it emotionally. I plan to enter it systematically. Most people are going to sell. I plan to buy. That is the whole message. Today I want to talk about something serious. Not a stock, not an ETF, not a company breakdown. Today I want to talk about what I believe is coming. And I know some people are going to hear this and think I am being negative. I am not being negative. I am being observant. There is a difference. Because what I see right now in this country is not strength. It is exhaustion disguised as strength. The American consumer is tired. The American consumer is over-leveraged. The American consumer is buried in payments. And the scary part is that most people still think everything is normal. They still think the paycheck means they are okay. They still think the credit card limit means they have money. They still think the car payment means they can afford the car. They still think the mortgage means they own the house. They still think buy now, pay later is convenience. No, that is not convenience. That is a trap with soft language. And the trap is starting to close. The United States economy runs on consumer spending. That is the machine. People buy things. People finance things. People swipe cards. People borrow, people upgrade, people replace, people consume. That spending is what keeps the economy moving. But here's the problem. When the consumer is spending borrowed money, that is not real strength. That is borrowed oxygen. And borrowed oxygen runs out. Household debt is sitting around $18.8 trillion. Credit card balances are around $1.277 trillion. That is not a small warning light. That is the dashboard blinking red. And still people do not want to look. They want to keep financing the lifestyle, the car, the truck, the vacation, the birthday party, the clothes, the phone, the furniture, the image, the bullshit. Then they wonder why they cannot get ahead. Let me say something people may not want to hear. The Trump administration has some blame for what is coming. Washington has blame. Bad policy has blame. Tariffs have consequences. Trade wars have consequences. Energy shocks have consequences. Inflation has consequences. When policy raises costs, working families feel it first. But the American people also have blame, because nobody forced millions of people to live like they were rich when they were broke. Nobody forced people to turn every paycheck into a payment schedule. Nobody forced people to fall in love with liabilities. Nobody forced people to spend every dollar before it even hit the account. At some point, personal responsibility has to enter the conversation, because a government can hurt you. A bad economy can hurt you, inflation can hurt you, but your own habits can destroy you. And that is what I think is coming. I think a lot of people are going to find out that their lifestyle was never built on income. It was built on credit. And once credit tightens, the truth shows up. Now let me be clear. I am not hoping for people to suffer. I am not cheering for collapse. I am not sitting here happy that people may lose jobs, lose homes, max out cards, or get financially crushed. But I am also not naive. I have seen this before. I have gone through economic breakdowns before, and I know what happens when fear takes over. Assets get cheaper, companies get cheaper, strong businesses get discounted, weak hands sell, disciplined investors buy. That is how wealth transfers happen. Every major crisis creates two groups. The first group goes in broke and comes out worse. The second group goes in prepared and comes out transformed. Most of America is going to go into this next storm with credit card debt, car debt, house debt, lifestyle debt, and no real plan. They will come out of it alive. Most people do. But many of them will come out poorer, more exhausted, more indebted, and further behind. That is the sad truth. But a smaller group of us are going to go into this with liquidity, income, discipline, and a shopping list. And that group can come out completely different. That is where I am positioning myself. This is not talk for me. This is not YouTube entertainment. This is my real life. I am close to $500,000 already. I have about $190,000 sitting in liquidity inside my 457B system. Cash, ready, waiting. I have over $219,000 invested on the growth side. I am depositing $32,500 a year into my retirement system. Over 20 years, that alone is $650,000 of deposits. That does not include growth. That does not include compounding. That does not include market recoveries. That does not include the opportunities that show up when everybody else is afraid. And now I am on the verge of securing a secondary job again. Not because I need money for bills, not because I need to buy toys, not because I need a bigger truck, not because I need to impress anybody. I am doing it because I see what is coming. I am doing it because I want ammunition. I am doing it because if the market breaks, I want cash flow. I want to keep AC Transit around 135 hours every 2 weeks and pick the right secondary job out of the options I have lined up. That way, I can keep feeding my system. While other people are trying to survive, I will be buying. While other people are panicking, I will be accumulating. While other people are calling the market a scam, I will be buying pieces of the same companies they use every day. This is where investors are made. Not when everything is easy, not when markets are green, not when everybody feels safe. Investors are made when the economy looks ugly and your discipline still shows up. I went through this before. I saw how people reacted. I saw people sell when they should have bought. I saw people freeze when they should have prepared. I saw people keep spending when they should have built reserves. And I also saw people become millionaires because they had the courage to buy when everyone else was scared. That is what people need to understand. Economic collapses do not just destroy wealth, they redistribute wealth. From the impatient to the patient, from the over-leveraged to the liquid, from the emotional to the disciplined, from consumers to owners. That is why I keep telling people, stop financing garbage. Stop buying liabilities. Stop pretending your paycheck means security. Stop acting like the system is going to save you, because the system is not designed to save you. The system is designed to keep you working, spending, borrowing, and paying interest. Punch in, punch out. Get paid, give it back. That is the cycle. And most people do it with a smile on their face because they think the next purchase is going to make them feel rich. It will not. It will make somebody else rich. So here's my warning. If you go into the next economic crisis with no cash, no investments, no emergency fund, no discipline, and a lifestyle built on debt, this thing can hit you 10 times harder than you think, maybe 100 times harder. You might keep your job, you might not, you might keep your house. You might not, you might keep making payments, you might not. But if you do not change now, you are walking into the storm blind. And I am done pretending that ignorance is harmless. Ignorance is expensive. Laziness is expensive. Consumer stupidity is expensive. And America has been drunk on consumption for too long. Now the hangover is coming. For me, I am not afraid of the storm. I respect it. I prepare for it. I work for it. I build for it. And when the storm comes, I plan to take full advantage of every discounted opportunity I can find. That does not mean I will be reckless. That does not mean I will gamble. That does not mean I will throw money at junk. It means I will keep buying quality. I will keep buying ownership. I will keep buying $1 at a time. And if the next 3 to 5 years are as ugly as I think they can be, then this may be the window that takes me from close to $500,000 to $1 million and beyond. That is not fantasy. That is math. That is preparation. That is discipline meeting opportunity. So to the people watching this, I can only say this one more time. Wake up or do not. Prepare or do not. Invest or do not. Stop financing your lifestyle or continue burying your head in the sand. But do not act surprised when the same crisis that buries the unprepared becomes the same crisis that builds the prepared. Because this has happened before. It will happen again. And when it does, I know exactly which side I am trying to be on. Like and subscribe, The $1 Investor, or continue to bury your head in the sand and let the biggest economic crisis in American history just pass you by without you benefiting from it.